You can actually earn more by doing less work with the customers that you already have. Because all too often we're focused on getting the next sale, getting more foot traffic, getting more leads and clients, customers, what variation you have, but you're not focused on the ones who are already sitting there. And this technique is used by billion-dollar corporations. And today I'm going to break down 5 ways that you can integrate this into your own business. The first technique we're going to talk about is upsells. And this is likely something that you've participated in without even realizing it. Think about the products, services, or brands that you swear by. You likely didn't buy the best version of the package that they offer, the top tier premium plan, or whatever the biggest thing that they actually are trying to sell you. You probably started out with the basic package, but over weeks, months, sometimes even years, or this might even happen on the spot at the store, you wanted to get the better version of it because you saw that it would solve more of your problems, that it would provide you with more value. Your customer or your client might be at a different stage in their journey, or they might have different wants and needs. And if you're trying to sell one thing to many different people who are at many different stages in their lives, then you are missing out on tons of potential revenue and tons of potential trust earning and tons of potential value that you could be providing to those customers or clients. So the first thing that you need to look for is what might be a better version of something that you're already offering. Look at your core product. And the easiest way to think about this is if you had to split this into 3 different versions. The entry level one where, hey, I'm kind of on a budget. The middle one that you really want everybody to buy, that's the one you're probably already selling, and the top tier premium, money is no object. Figure out ways that you can have different versions of these upsells within your product or service stack. And if you have different variations of these, that means that you will have more opportunities to address bigger problems when the need comes. But the problem with upsells is that one, you probably don't have any, and two, that you still feel like it might be something you're forcibly putting into the customer's mind. This is the difference that you need to have, and this is the advice I would give you when it comes to upsells. Make it feel natural and start to actually understand their concerns and their issues and where they're at from the beginning. Software companies do this all the time as a prime example where they typically have the bronze, silver, and gold package. And usually it's based on where you're at. Let's say I had some sort of invoicing software. The entry level one might be 10 invoices a month, which is great for the local landscaper. But then all of a sudden, the middle one is going to have 25 invoices a month, and it's going to have all these extra features inside of it, which somebody who, hey, that landscaper is now getting more clients, I need to get them to that premium package. And this is something that could happen over time, or the other version of it might be instantaneous. A word of advice I would give you about upsells is that you don't want to force something that somebody doesn't need. Because if you do that, you get an angry and frustrated customer who leaves you a bad review, you lose all that trust, probably going to get less people who even want to buy your stuff. That means that you need to focus on giving real value to them, that it needs to be something that aligns with the particular problem that they are having, and ultimately, it needs to be something that solves more of those problems. Because it might be worth paying double if that means that they're getting far more value out of it. But if they're not going to use features, if they're not going to see benefits, if they're not going to get more out of paying more, then it is not at all worth it to even approach an upsell to somebody who doesn't need it. So to recap, upsells can dramatically change your revenue stream, but it's all about the value that the customer gets out of it. Do not try and sell something that they don't need, but do create more opportunities to provide more value. And all you'll need to do is to sit down and look at all the different stages that your customers or clients might be in and find better, more enticing, more comprehensive packages that might suit those needs. Or if you could create a slightly better version of your product that solves even more problems, then you have a natural upsell. But most importantly, they don't know unless you ask, and more importantly, you won't be able to ask unless you create those opportunities. The second technique is cross sells, and this is something you'll see in everyday life. Think about McDonald's. They typically have an entry-level offer. Sometimes it's free French fries, sometimes it's some sort of side drink with a purchase, and you think, wow, what a great deal. And you go down there, and all of a sudden you've left spending double, triple, sometimes quadruple what you would have spent because you added on a burger, you added on some ice cream, you added on some extra little tidbits here and there, and that adds up. Imagine if each one of your customers or clients spent an additional $5 with you, $50, maybe even an additional $100. If every single one of them were doing that, that would potentially change your entire business. This is the power of cross sells. And these are different than upsells because you're not actually positioning them with a new core offer. You're adding complementary things to that offer. Let's go back to the weight loss example. Let's say that somebody was spending $150 a month on your weight loss program. Well, those cross sells might be supplements, they might be new gear, they might be nutrition plans, they might be accountability texts, they might be getting exclusive access to an app, and all of a sudden that $150 a month, you've added an additional $200 to $300 at the base package, and then an additional $50 a month. Now the value of that one single customer has dramatically changed, yet they already trust you, and each one of these cross sells is enhancing their experience. When it comes to cross sells, look for ways to enhance the experience or enhance the journey or rapid fire solve the problem. And this could be something that's speed based, this could be something that's experiential, or this could be something as simple as just another product or service that gets added on to make the whole thing better. This is the reason when you go to McDonald's that all of a sudden they say, hey, with your burger, would you like fries? Would you like a drink? Then all of a sudden that drink and that fries go from medium size to large size, and that customer spent an additional $5. And this adds up. The easiest way to approach this is to think about it from the customer's perspective. If they were to buy your product or service, what are different small things that you could incorporate into this that would enhance the whole journey, the whole experience? Everything would just be better because they spend an additional $5, $10, $50 here and there. This is the reason that when you go to buy an iPhone, they're able to seamlessly cross-sell you into the iCloud subscription because you originally didn't get upsold to the higher storage capacity from the get-go. Yet you feel it's in your best interest to subscribe to cloud storage so that you can still store your photos and videos somewhere. So to recap, that might be something that could be very small. It might be a 50-cent add-on, or it might be a $500 add-on. You just have to figure out what elements you can add into your product or service stack. And each time you do this, if the customer spends a little bit more each time, you'll get a little bit more revenue for far less work than trying to get a brand new customer or client. By the way, if you're still struggling with your business and it's not quite where you want it to be, I understand. And I'm here to help you because if you click the link in the description or if you click on the pinned comment, you and I, one-on-one, for free, will walk through step by step by step the same framework I've used with all the partners that has earned an additional 6+ million in revenue this year alone. All you have to do is click on that link, we'll book a virtual meeting, and I'll tell you exactly how to solve it so that you can grow your business and get to the good part faster. The third technique is downsells, and this one is a little more complex, but you can use this to your advantage if you don't quite have the trust from your customer or client who wants to buy something bigger. So let's say, for instance, that you have your core offer and they're not even quite ready to buy the main thing. Then all of a sudden you could have multiple downsells. Perhaps it might be a DIY guide that they could buy for $5, $10. They could buy your book, they could buy your video course, they could buy a webinar, they could buy some variation of that that's a little bit less expensive than the main thing that you're offering. Or if you're trying to get them to a higher level, if you want them to get a bigger package, then your downsells might be downsells from that perspective, where you can get them to solve portions of their problem, they're able to connect the dots themselves, and they see the value in buying the bigger thing. A downsell can work wonders because it allows you to earn that trust from the beginning and ultimately navigate them towards bigger and more spending opportunities with you. And more importantly, you're giving them more opportunities to get more value from working with you. So look for opportunities where you can actually split the difference between this is your big thing that you want them to buy and this is them first discovering you. They might not be ready to go straight into the deep end of the pool and buy the big thing. So if you could split that out into multiple steps, or if you can create more opportunities that are lower ticket items in between trying to get them to buy the big thing, then they will have earned more and more and more trust along the way. Downsells are a prime example of how you can get little chunks of revenue just by not only earning that trust, by giving them more opportunities to nurture that lead over time. And not only that, you can even in some instances give away things for free in an effort to get them to buy your thing and still make money. So to recap, Downsells are a fantastic opportunity to earn more trust from your customer or client. And all you'll need to do is to figure out smaller incremental steps to getting them to see the value of what you offer. So start to dissect your product or service and see what value it is from the customer's perspective and what little opportunities you can incorporate in the journey that are cheaper. Sometimes it might be as simple as you have a $5,000 product and they're just ready to spend the $50 one. What would that $50 video course, a DIY guide, Zoom call, or something that they can buy just to earn a little bit of that trust so you can get them closer to spending the $5,000 version of it? So downsells are a fantastic way to earn that trust, to get them to understand the value of what you provide, and to ultimately nurture that lead to get them closer to buying the bigger items. The fourth technique we can use are order boosters. And it's all about getting them to understand that they might need to buy more versions of the thing to simply get more results. And by that, you need to have them understand what the problem they're facing is, and then you can actually proportionally add different types of offers in different presentations in an effort to get them to spend more with you, but ultimately see more value. Common example of this is, hey, would you like to buy another version of this? It's a 2-for-1 deal. If you can figure out what your margins are and relatively factor that in to just get them to spend a little bit more, potentially even double the amount, then they will see the opportunity to do so and feel like they get a better deal. This is why when you go to the grocery store and you see so many of those buy one, get one 50% off, buy one, get one free, or you're still getting them to spend more, to buy more things at a time, and they're feeling like they get a better deal. Now, to do this in your business, you have to do a little bit of math to figure out what some of those either loss leaders might look like. So little entry-level offers that you can add on to get them to buy more of those things, or if you're a consumable item, then all you need to figure out is to see how much of that item they're actually consuming. This has been used since the dawn of time. You've probably seen those infomercials where they say, just pay for shipping and handling and we'll double the order. Well, you're going to get far more customers who are likely to buy your thing by seeing the value of that deal. And all they had to do was to spend a little bit more, even though your margins, let's say it costs you $1 to make this pair of pants and you sell it for $10. Well, if you could double that and all of a sudden they spend $20 and you've made far more profit, but you still only had to spend $2, you all of a sudden have double the average order volume or the amount that that customer has spent with you. They feel like they got a better deal because they got double of the thing and they only had to spend a little bit extra on that shipping and handling. When in reality, it might have just cost you an additional $4 or $5 for that shipping and handling. So at the end of the day, you've made more from that customer for doing less work and just simply changing the presentation. So to recap, order boosters are a fantastic way to get customers or clients to spend more with you. Now, these are a little more advanced, and what I would encourage you to do is to break down your hourly rate or whatever it is that's worth your time for your service, or bare minimum the amount it costs for you to produce that product, and figure out a way to get them to spend more if they're willing to do so by restructuring the offer. You might even be as simple as buy one, get two, buy one, get three. Or all of a sudden, if you say, hey, if you buy my premium service, I will toss in an additional 10 hours of my service. Something that allows them to get more of what you're already likely offering, more of the actual order, but they feel like they are getting a better deal. Number 5, and this is the classic one that everybody's doing right now, is subscriptions. If you can get somebody on a subscription to just maintain the thing, to just enhance the thing, to continually look at the thing, especially if it's something that changes over time, this is extremely powerful because that adds up really fast. Likely, if you're selling something like a product or service and it requires some form of upkeep, all you need to do is to figure out what that upkeep is worth, either for your time or to add more products, especially if it's a consumable. Think about selling somebody a bag of coffee beans. If that person is buying a bag of beans every single month already, you might just simply need to say, hey, put your credit card on file, we'll give you 10% off your monthly subscription. And that customer will appreciate the discount and you'll have a consistent stream of revenue. Now, that is somebody who's already likely doing that. Where this really, really comes into play and where the real potential is navigating people who are already on that into something more. Let's say that Joe comes into your store every once in a while to buy those coffee beans. Well, if Joe is already coming in and they have to drive out there, and you say, "Hey, Joe, I notice that you keep coming into my store all the time. Would you like to upgrade to a monthly subscription where we ship this out to your house and you get a little bit of a discount?" Now Joe is buying more coffee beans. He feels like he's getting a better deal, and you're getting a consistent, predictable stream of reoccurring revenue. The other version of this is not just upgrading them to a subscription, but also maintaining the status quo. Let's say, for instance, you were a bug exterminator, and every summer that rolls around, you know that the same farmhouses that were built in the 1900s are going to have insect issues. So instead of getting that customer and trying to continuously sell them every single year and doing that labor, you could come to them and say, "Hey, you're going to pay the lump sum up front, and then it's a monthly fee, and then each visit after that will be a discounted rate." Over time, the customer will end up spending the same, if not more, with you, but you will have that customer retention and that card on file where they will set it and forget it because they don't want to have to deal with bugs, and you don't want to have to deal with driving out to all these houses each and every time. So look for ways that you can maintain the status quo in the customer's eyes and transition them into that subscription model. Now your customer doesn't have to worry about maintaining the thing because you've taken that burden off of their shoulders and you're continuously giving them value. A really important note that I would add on to this is that you do still need to continuously provide some form of value if you're doing this. It's very difficult to offer subscriptions if they do not see continuous growth, time savings, or new opportunities. So to recap, subscriptions are a fantastic way to earn monthly reoccurring revenue or even yearly reoccurring revenue. And I highly encourage you to even take those monthly packages and offer a yearly package as well that's slightly cheaper, but you either want to find ways to upgrade it with your subscription package or maintain the status quo with the subscription package. In either instance, it should always be about providing more value or time savings, or ultimately just finding a way where they don't have to worry about the thing and they can continue to see it grow without you having to continually sell them over and over again. I hope this video was valuable to you, and I highly encourage you to add upsells, downsells, cross sells, order boosters, and subscription. And if you incorporate each one of these 5 things, or even just one of them, you might even potentially double your revenue for people who are already buying your own thing just by simply approaching them with something new to offer. And as always, I put out a video like this once a week to help business owners, freelancers, startup founders, or whatever you call yourself grow. If these videos are valuable, go ahead and subscribe and go ahead and comment below. I want to know what you're going through, whatever wins you have, whatever struggles you're going through, so I can make content about it as well. But until then, I'll see you next time.